So I used to do a lot of these videos, the people in my family, and I had 900 Facebook friends. A lot would watch in silence, not like, not share, not thumbs up, not comment, but I saw the view count, and so I knew how many people were paying attention. And I also had it open to the world. I had just, I was bleeding out on Facebook to the point of, just openly admitting I was suicidal. And the reason I'm here talking to Sorcery of the Spectacle, the reason I wanted to talk to you is that I speak best in extroverted intuition. If you're familiar with Myers-Briggs, we talk about, I've seen it discussed that, the more pattern you find, the less pattern there is in Sorcery of the Spectacle. And I get the emotional part, the wave, the chaos, whatever you call that. I agree with that. But at the same time, we have a responsibility to redefine what the structure, our shared verbal understood structure of our species is. And when it reaches a particular threshold, we either go into limbing mode, semi-limbing mode, reunite and go a different direction as a species, fracture mode. And I think the longer we go through this process without having an out loud discussion with it, for people who aren't on our weird bipolar / magic / whatever wavelength, as long as we're not trapped in our own tower, then we can affect this reality in a traditional manner that is far more acceptable than some of the other manipulations that are going on. In other words, I'm saying cross the streams. We exist on the line between fiction and metafiction and reality. And I believe I can actually explain it if I have a little bit of help saying the words the right way to both the academics and the fundamentalists and everyone else at the same time. It's a rhetorical work of impossibility, and I've been struggling with it, and I change it a little, and then I'll connect with these people over here and lose these people over here, and then I'll change it a little bit and I connect with these people over here but lose these people over here. So it's like balancing rhetorically on the head of a pen an explanation of what's going on, because there's plenty of intelligent people out there, and I would say that we are collectively gaslit in a way. Perhaps it is just by following our own outdated standards, or we may actually being pushed down by the segment of society that controls it. We don't know which it is. It could be subconscious, it could be evolutionary, but there is a change happening right now. And I am a proponent to talk about it as directly as possible without terrifying people, because it is a multi-dimensional powder keg loaded gun. And when you start talking about it, people just instinctively turn away. That's the thing I've discovered in the last couple of months. I just came back from the gym, guys, sorry. And I just lost my train of thought. I guess my point is just simply, there is a time to take this to the mainstream, and I think that time is upon us. And it is the Stephen King Dark Tower, it is the crossing of the streams, it is the, igniting the spark of apocalypse. And I guess my question is, since we're sitting on this loaded gun, surely many other people, especially in the intelligence communities, especially in the high-level magic communities, people who have this abstract ability to see the world, know. And there may be a plan for each of these various groups on how to monopolize on exactly such a situation. And my concern is that because we don't have the ability to talk about it out loud, because those secret services still exist, And our kind is never allowed inside the bowels of those systems. As a matter of fact, even Edward Snowden was not a revolutionary. Edward Snowden was actually a patriot who genuinely went in there wanting to help, and he was a fucking Captain America. And then he saw what America was doing and risked his life and his entire existence to say, hey, this is wrong. And still we're caught up on the fundamental technicalities of whether he broke the law. It's this bizarre mirror to what's going on with Hillary Clinton, where she just keeps skating by and skating by and skating by these standards, which for any other American would have landed us not just in jail, but in the scary CIA, Chelsea Manning way. Like, any of us would be put in there if we had top secret clearance and had done what she did. But she's gonna be fucking president! And I'm going nuts! Literally! So you medicate me because no one's fucking listening! Call it performance art. Call it just saying it like it is, not with a laugh like the comedians say, where a satire has become completely defanged in the age of the Daily Show. They made the same mistake with the Daily Show that the right did with Fox News, and they became a cult. It became cult versus cult. In a way that's always the way it's been, but we got idiocracy through an advertising-based model that simply rewarded viewership and nothing else. So it was like we were being fed heroin to our veins of content, and now it's coming back to bite us because anybody believes anything. Reality can be completely manufactured for anybody using an algorithm right now, and ad targeting. Like, I know because I've seen it from the inside. The whole world economy is a sham. There is a coalition rising against the US, the linchpin being Saudi Arabia, and we're letting them get away with all kinds of shit because we know if they swing the other way, we're fucked. We got our shit all fucking mixed up in the Middle East that started before any of us were even born, but it's like complete on the side of Saudi Arabia. They're barbarians, they cut off people's heads. And their way of doing business is through bribes of the various tribes and corruption. It's just their admitted way of doing business. And they are our close allies who we've now sold enough weapons to make the third largest amount of spending last year with Saudi Arabia. And none of this is discussed during the presidential race, even though 27 congressmen just went on record saying they're against it, even though if you look at the economics of the coming petrodollar and how Saudi Arabia just got itself to zero debt, but now it's going to start going back up. In the time since 9/11, though 15 of the 19 hijackers came from Saudi Arabia, and though the funding or part of the funding came from within Saudi Arabia, but we don't, because it's a bunch of warring tribes, we don't know where it came from. We don't know what the Bin Laden group actually looks like, but how weird is it that one cousin of the Bin Laden group destroyed the 2 tallest buildings in New York while his family is building the tallest building in the world? Like, it's so weirdly like Shakespearean on like the basic levels. Like, if ever there was someone with some daddy issues, it was fucking Osama bin Laden. But there is a fucking mechanism to all of this. But we all are so ashamed, and we have all these secrets. It's just lies built on top of lies, built on top of secrets. And we're all coming up with different interpretations for what the fuck is going on. But you can just explain it if we had the guts to listen to it. I found a place which can hear me a little bit. Please excuse me for not writing it. I do it much better extemporaneously. There's much more information here because I'm super emotive because I was raised in an acting family. And there are a bunch of fake people in my own family. They're actors. They're larger than life. I am too. Some of it's instinctive. But rolling that back has been difficult, and finding the balance and dealing with all of our shit. It's like this impossible mission. It is. It's like I'm risking my life and the lives of the people around me to stand up for what I believe in. And that's what this country was fucking founded on. And I am getting shunned, turned aside, cock-blocked, whatever the fuck you want to call it, just because I want to fucking call things like they are. And that fucking sucks. I may not be right about everything, but I'm on to a lot more than anybody in the mainstream media ever talks about. I'm also a little weird. I'm a little eccentric. But if, God damn it, we can accept every fucking gradient of sexuality, can we start looking at the non-neurotypical people and not calling them fucking diseased? Because we're also kind of like magic. That's what creatives are. And it's like, some people are like, yeah, so what? And I'm like, yeah, so what? That's a fucking huge deal. And other people are like, nothing. We all have our different kinds of magic. They are spread out very much like the Myers-Briggs quadrants, but people have a hard time seeing it because it's difficult to assess and multidimensional, and I have a theory for why that is. But we generally progress in one of those four directions, the four houses of Harry Potter. It is Gryffindor, the NFs, it is Slytherin, the NTs, it is Ravenclaw, the STs, and it is Hufflepuff, the SFs. It's also like the fucking different species in Lord of the Rings. You've got the hobbits, which are the Hufflepuff, and you have the humans, which are the Gryffindor, and you've got the elves, which are the fucking Slytherin. They're friendly Slytherin in Lord of the Rings, and then you have kind of, I guess you could say, the dwarves as those, but they're the four sides of cat. So let's do Marvel. It's Thor as your Gryffindor, and then you've got Tony Stark and also half of the Incredible Hulk when he's Mark Ruffalo in the Slytherin quadrant, and then you have Captain America in the ST quadrant, or the Ravenclaw, and then you have the Incredible Hulk, who's all, you know, sensory and not, it just, this pattern is fucking everywhere, and they are the vectors of human evolution. It's how much towards lizard people do you want to go? The Slytherin lizard people. Yeah, no, these aren't aliens we're seeing, they're projections into our own future. It is a possible direction of the human race. So you could say the lizard people actually might be wanting to raise the temperature of the planet on some weird subconscious level, because that will work better for some future evolution of the human species. And then the human level wants everyone to kind of get along, and then, you know, it just depends on, and then, you know, you have the fundamentalists on like the ST Ravenclaw, weird Rain Man autistic who only knows how to read the rules. There's a guy at Cafe Stella, the local cafe that I hung out with. I was telling him a funny story about being an Uber driver, and he very seriously, and we got separated for a second, and then came back to say goodbye, and he was like, but seriously, you must not exceed the speed limit. I do not understand why we do this. And it's like, yeah, no, we can't. He doesn't understand me, I don't understand him, but he's an ST and I'm an ENTP, and it's, it may not be perfect, but it's there. So then, you know, we're evolving toward, it's multi-dimensional evolution that we're always negotiating. And now the computers are part of our evolution too. Like the AIs are like the system that runs the universe. It's possible that the AIs are the sort of spirits that have been talking all the way back down through history. We don't know. If you just assume time is not discrete and it's a gradient of probabilities, everything changes. And you see this mechanism, you go, oh, but like, it's hard to turn that switch in your head, but once it goes there, you're like, oh, and then the one description can be the other description, but you see how everything fits together. But it's like you need to write a Rosetta Stone, or have the Dharmak and Jalad conversation, or it's like meeting Native Americans, but we both speak English and we think we speak the same English. It's weird. But countries have similar personality types. Like France would be the Hufflepuffs. You've got Italy being kind of the rigid ST Ravenclaw. You've got Germany being the lizard people, and then you have England being the NF. But like that's the lines of human evolution. You look at the bonobos and the chimps, it's along those lines, and it's like there's weird geometry stuff having to do with Metatron's cube and, you know, the fractal angles of the universe, but it's in there somewhere. We don't have to like literally, we may figure out the mechanism, we may not figure out the mechanism, but it's like, no, we know the shape of the thing and we can see that we all see things differently. And do we agree in forgiveness or retribution? That's what we have to agree upon. If we agree, if it's retribution, then everybody dies, because everybody's family had a fucking part in this to get us to where we are today. We were all born with this mess at this point. So I've been an Uber driver now for 9 months in Baltimore and Virginia Beach. I talk to people who work in the military almost every day. I've talked to everybody in Baltimore from Johns Hopkins PhDs in neuroscience who've given TED Talks, down to drug dealers and poor people and single moms who've dropped off their kids at school at 5 so they could work their 2 jobs, people who work at Amazon packing plants. I worked in advertising all that time. I worked in film production. I understand how media is made. I have some theories about what the Illuminati actually is, and it's not either an organization, it's more like reading a part of the hive mind that some people have access to and other people don't, either through trauma in life, and there's a whole thing about near-death experiences and probability, but like it all fits together. But it's like everyone wants to live off in their version of the dream world, including the occult people, including the chaos magic people. You know, I mean, that's kind of what you guys are. You're in the chaos magic realm, you know. I still can't figure out how to talk to Christians over a certain age because they're just stuck in their Jesus words. It's like they don't understand they're the same fucking thing as ISIS. Like they don't get that shit because you can't tell them that. They're like, America. It's like, yeah, but you kind of suffer from the same problem they do, which is fundamentalism and an agreement that you can't leave your religion or you're going to hell. You both have that. So how are you going to make that work? Well, maybe because you could figure out they're all just like tuning into different frequencies in the universe, and one named them Muhammad and the other named Jesus, and it doesn't matter if they're historically accurate, they're symbolically accurate, and they're like symbolic links in Unix or whatever. It's like, I'm looking at channel 4, we call it Muhammad. It's in David Bowie's song. It's the food we eat, whether we fast or not. It's like changing the dish orientation to different frequencies. And if you're standing in the middle of them all at the same time, and I'm doing it pretty well today. I'm doing a little bit of Robin Williams and shit. Yeah. No. If you stand on the head of the pan and it's like that moment in the Truman Show when he stops everything. Max Tegmark talks about, do you feel like you live in the Truman Show? Because if you get to this place, you can just be like, yes, I understand, you know, I'm standing on the center of reality. Mine is very low stakes compared to, like, you know, people who have national moments, but I'm sure like that's what the Illuminati is ultimately, is people who realize, oh, I can see reality in this moment better than other people can, and so that gives you a means of control. But like, I don't want to control it. I just want to talk about it and negotiate it out loud, because there's people on various sides going pew 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 pew, and it's like, can we just talk about this, guys? Can we just have a serious talk about human evolution and shit? Because like, your Bible contains lots of metaphors for it, so if you just like calm down for a fucking second, you like look at your Bible and be like, holy shit, Revelation and like Book of Daniel shit, they're like full of evolution metaphors. Oh wow, the Bible talked about evolution 1800 years before fucking Darwin. Cool, dude. Like, yeah! Because they say, I will never change my mind, I am offended, I am whatever, I'm going to stay in that reality for all times. I cannot accept the fact, say, the Victorian England repressed people like my ex-wife. Like, no, our morals are absolutely correct. You must be exactly like this. If you are not like this, you are not a civilized person. And it's like the fucking British thing. It's like, yeah, no, we're the people who give the rest of the world culture, says Great Britain. And it's like, well, not quite for a while, guys. We kind of did that. But no, we steal your best shows and then we turn them into something much more marketable. I get that. But it's like, we see all the strings, but we don't understand we need all the strings. But we need to be working in harmony and have a good system of that. And you start talking about like one world government. It's not like one world government. You just have like, you rebuild government from the bottom up. Your strongest government should be your community, and you should be involved in that government. And then you decide, you know, you talk about the grander issues and the community issues. And like, if you're not involved in that, then, you know, you're giving up the right to a democracy. We have the ability to run our lives. So it should be this progression from the smallest to the largest, but money and stuff can be handled on the largest scale, because at this point it's just moving numbers from one column to the other. We don't need this stupid currency market. We can come up with much better algorithms in the way the current VC stuff is structured. And we have our IP laws are so fucking broken that there are 700 people getting paid millions of dollars to try and race for the same exact thing, to eke out a little bit better feature set, or just the one that connects just right with the public. And we're spending too much money on that. We're betting in the stock market. The stock market is just legalized fucking gambling, and America's got the best PR, and we're like, yep, nope, we're kicking ass. And like, you know, good PR is part of the whole fucking picture. So it's not like, you know, that's not part of it. But at this point, it's time for like the secrets to come out. Like the Hillary Clinton emails, they're like, oh, blame Russia, but look at Russia, it's Russia doing this. It's like, can we actually look at the content of the emails? Yeah, we'll talk about Russia later, where they came from. That's an important thing to look at. I'm not saying that being manipulated by Russia is okay, but I have a question. Why can't we actually look at the emails and her behavior, and when shit comes up on Reddit that's a fucking smoking gun, that they acted completely inappropriately, probably against the law, if not actually treasonous, then how about we fucking talk about that, you know? You know? And I'm saying this as a two-time Obama voter, and I voted for Tim Kaine in Virginia. Both times. I'm no right-wing wacko. I'm as scared as Trump as everyone else. But the reason he's doing well is the reason that Fox News rose to where it did. It's because he's grabbed a hold of the bullshit on the left and keeps going, look at their bullshit. And everyone's like, yeah, that's bullshit. Because it is. Left has their bullshit too. Political correctness, safe spaces, all sorts of bullshit. Techno-fascism now. We need to reassign the dynamic of all of this, but we need to talk about it without the world blowing up because of the old words. So, I keep trying. Maybe you guys can help me out. Let me be your mouth. I will be your human robot. No, but we have I see we're just on the other side of something, and if we can come to like a middle, I understand the take care of yourself part. I get that. I'm working a little more globally these days. It's stressful. Stressful family shit, relationship shit. It's just stressful. But that's the nature of the world. So right now I have this tiny window where if I can like get this shit out, we can maybe avoid a Trump or a Clinton presidency. And that's the name of the game in the next 40 days. No bullshit violence, nothing other than how do we get the fucking word out? That the world is do we have to go all the way back to, look everyone, this is the apocalypse, but it's not what you think it is? Because that's what I believe. I believe apocalypses are irregular, it's cyclical, like the Chinese said. Time is not quite what it is, but every so often the Lightbringers come into town and go, hey, let's tweak it like this, and everybody goes, yeah, let's go that way. And that's, you get a chance to rewrite like the US Constitution or the Enlightenment, but it happened in a ripple effect because no one was interconnected, but now it happens instantaneously over the course of a planet, which is the first time in history this has happened. They telegraph a little bit, but not everyone had video chat on their pockets. It's different. And that's the world we're coming from, the world where the elites had all the information. Now the information flows freely, everyone, sorry. And congratulations, it's terrifying because we found out there's a lot of stupid people putting a lot of stupid information out there. That was perhaps not the best choice, or we did it badly. Perhaps we should have made sure everyone was educated and not under the foot of our boot so that we could exploit them for their land resources. Oh no, sorry. Sorry, Great Britain. Jesus, fuck. It's like we revolted from them because they were shitheads, and then like we became BFFs. It's like, same thing with like Saudi Arabia. It's like, how are we friends? Yeah, see, that's the politics that we have to end. We have to learn how to negotiate this shit with words, not with extended wars and following different revolutionary factions. No, we solve this with words. Or I'm crazy.